Akhandamandalakaram vyaptam yena characharam tatpadam darshitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupaswarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakhyam Namami Bhaktashaktikam. Namah Pankajanabhaya Namah Pankajamaline Namah Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajanghaye Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sarvebhyo Namaha, Sarvesham Krite Swagat. Today we will conclude the 11th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita. We've done almost all the shlokas. We've reached the 47th shloka now. We've completed the first 46 shlokas. So what happened in those 46 shlokas? In the beginning of the 11th chapter, Sri Bhagavan has just completed describing his vibhutis. Vibhuti means his splendor. So he spoke in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He tells about his grand nature. He says, I am the best among every class of entities you can think of in this material existence. So the 10th chapter is about the vibhutis of Bhagavan, the splendors. Vibhuti means splendor. So when the 11th chapter begins, Arjuna expresses in a doubtful mind. It doesn't say directly that I doubt you, but you can make out from his words that it is asked by a person when he has some doubt in what is being said. So imagine your own friend has told you something extraordinary about himself that you never thought was possible. So you doubt whether it could be true, but you also know your friend never lies. He's a genuine person. So you are now, to resolve the doubt in your mind, you ask him to show you what he told about you. So Arjuna asks Krishna that, okay, I'm really fascinated to hear all this about you, but please show me. I would like to see that form in which you have all this splendor, this grandness that you're talking about, this vibhuti. So Krishna understands that. He understands that what he has just spoken is not easily accepted by anyone. So he says, okay, normally anyone cannot see this. No one can see this. So I will give you divine vision with which you will be able to see my Vishwarupa. So he gives Arjuna that divine vision and then he shows the Vishwarupa to Arjuna. So after seeing that, the whole of the 11th chapter describes what Arjuna saw. And Arjuna is immediately awed by it. He sees so many heads, so many hands, so many mouths, and so much brightness in the sky. The whole sky turns into an enormous form of Bhagavan. The person who is standing before him is no longer visible, but that enormous, fascinating, wonderful form is visible. So as he's watching and he's getting awed by it, suddenly he sees very horrifying things. He sees the different personalities that he knows, like his own grandfather Bhishma, his teacher Drona, his own brother. Of course, he doesn't know that it's his brother, but Karna. He knows so many other kings. All of them going into the mouth of that form. Those mouths are blazing with fire. And those people are entering those mouths and they are getting consumed. So then he gets into a mood of horror. He sees his own soldiers, the kings on his side, also getting consumed. So now, out of horror, he asks Bhagavan that, please stop. Tell me who are you? What are you showing me? Who's this? Explain to me. Then Sri Bhagavan speaks. He says that I am actually universal time and I have come here to establish dharma. And in the process of doing that, I am consuming everything that I think should be eliminated from here. Because earlier in the Gita also he has said, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam shajamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. I come here to establish dharma. In every yuga I come. And I remove the wicked people. I protect the saintly people. So now you are seeing that. So then Arjuna is completely shaken when he hears all this. The person that he knew was his own cousin, his own friend, suddenly is showing him something completely mind-blowing. He's not able to comprehend it. So then he offers prayers to that form. He says, you are something beyond what I realized, I ever realized. So please forgive me if I have committed any offense against you by treating you as my friend, by teasing you, by speaking to you in a very ordinary manner. If I have committed any offense, please pardon me. I can no longer tolerate this form. I can't anymore comprehend what you're showing me. So please come back to the original form that I know you as always seen. So now we are going to continue from that point. We are now seeing the 47th shloka. After Arjuna has said all that. So now Sri Bhagavan responds to him. Sri Bhagavan uvacha maya prasannena tavarjunedam rupam param darshitam atma yogat tejo mayam vishwam anantamadyam yanme tvadanyena nadrishta purvam. Sri Bhagavan uvacha. Sri Bhagavan said, maya prasannena tava Arjuna idam rupam darshitam. He says, by me, tava prasannena, because you wanted to see this. Sri Bhagavan says that you asked me in the beginning, just a few minutes back, you asked me, please show me that form. And at that time, you seem to be looking forward to enjoying that form. So for your pleasure, okay, see how Sri Bhagavan responds so diplomatically, so smoothly he is responding. He says, for your pleasure, because you asked for it, I showed you this. Tava prasannena, with the consideration of your happiness, I showed you this. Param rupam. Param rupam means this rupam, this form, is not an ordinary form. It is param. Param means beyond the mundane. It is beyond the mundane. It's sublime. The sublime form I have shown you. Atma yogat. Darshitam Atma yogat. I have shown you from my own potency. Atma yoga means from my own potency, my own strength. Tejo mayam vishwam anantamadyam. This form is tejo mayam. Teja means in Sanskrit, tejas means fire. It means brilliance, light. It means strength. It means power. So the word tejas means all these things. And this form has all of those things. It's bright, it is strong, it's powerful. Tejo mayam vishwam anantam. It covers the entire universe, the infinite universe. It's infinite in size. This form is not limited to one sphere of the universe. It's covering the entire universe. It's infinite. Adyam means it's original in nature. It is not derived from some other form. It always exists. It's Adyam. Yatme tvadanyena nadrishta purvam. Says, before you are seeing this, nobody else has seen this. You are now seeing it for the first time before anyone else has seen it. Okay, so he says, I showed you this for your pleasure, and now you are asking me to change. Sri Bhagavan uvacha maya prasannena tavarjunedam rupam param darshitam atma yogat tejo mayam vishwam anantamadyam yanme tvadanyena nadrishta purvam. Sri Bhagavan said, O Arjuna, this sublime form was shown by me for your pleasure through my inner potency. This original, infinite, universal form, endowed with splendor, brightness, and power, has not been seen by anyone else before you. Na veda yajnadhyayanair nadanair na chakriyabhir na tapobhirugraihi evam rupa shakya aham riloke drashtum tvadanyena kuru pravira. So he continues, he says, Na veda yajnadhyanaihi na danaihi. So normally when people in our Samskriti, in our culture, in our dharma, when they want to spiritually elevate themselves, what do? They study the Veda. Veda is very comprehensive. It's very detailed. It's very in-depth scripture. It's very in-depth text. So it is a part of our education system, our traditional education system, to teach children the Veda. And they learn how to recite the Veda properly, according to proper chandas. There is, meter. Chandas means meter. You know how to pronounce the words going up and down without making mistakes. So by reciting the Veda, one becomes purified. One's consciousness becomes purified. One becomes spiritually elevated. One moves towards spiritual realization. Yajna. Yajna means worship. The basic form of yajna is to conduct a fire sacrifice. That is to prepare a homakunda. And in the homakunda, light a fire, Agni, and then offer oblations into it. Offer ghee, offer til, offer different types of things, wood, into it, and chant mantras as you do that. And through that process, you're actually worshipping different devatas and worshipping Vishnu. So yajna. Adhyayana. Adhyayana means swadhyaya. Swadhyaya, study. Studying of different types of texts, different subjects, to improve our knowledge and to know the reality better. Okay, like you people are all students, you're all studying. So adhyaya. Adhyaya is a very important part of dharma. And dana. Dana is charity. Charity means giving away things which are dear to you, sacrificing for the benefit of somebody else. So you have some objects which you like, which you have maybe acquired for your purpose. Now voluntarily saying that, okay, I can live without it. If somebody else can benefit from it, I'll give them this thing. That is called dan. Okay, sometimes dan is done. Suppose I have a lot of things more than what I have. That also is a context for doing dan, because I can't consume everything that I have. Right? Most of it will just lie there. So why not somebody else get benefit from it? So you give it away. Right? So dana. Kriyabhihi means various types of dharmic activities. Tapobhihi. Tapobhihi means by various types of austerities. Austerity, tapasya. Tapasya refers to activities which are deliberately done for taking discomfort for the body. Tapasya means discomfort, austerity, taking things which are, doing things which are not normally done in a regulated manner. Tapasya is regulated discomfort. For example, let us say you do upavas or fasting. Okay, you do 1 day of upavas. Ekadashi day is a day of upavas, for example. So on Ekadashi day, there are many people who don't drink even water. They don't eat food, they don't drink water. It's called Nirjala Ekadashi. So for 24 hours or even more actually, for about 36 hours, because you begin the previous night and the whole of Ekadashi day until the next morning, and becomes about 36 to 38 hours. So after your last meal, you don't take anything. And so you feel hunger, you feel thirst, but you tolerate. So for that period, you take that austerity so that your mind becomes calm, and you also develop better concentration, you develop better health. And during the time, you increase your meditation on God, meditation on Bhagavan. Okay, that is why this vrata is done. So tapasya is an example. I'm given an example of tapasya. Like this, there are many other types of tapasya also. And many of them involve controlling our indulgence in food, especially food. But apart from food, many other things also, like our normal activities of, say, recreation, or you can say where we get pleasure, any kind of pleasure activities we withdraw from during tapasya. So all these things, Veda, Yajna, Adhyayana, Dana, Kriya, Tapas, all of these things are activities of dharma, which are done for spiritual elevation. But here Shri Bhagavan says, Na Veda, Na Veda, Na Veda Yajnadhyayanehi, Na Danaihi, Cha Kriyabhihi, Na Tapobhihi. By none of these things, Evam Rupa Shakya Aham Riloke Drashtum, I cannot be seen. By none of these activities can I be seen in this form that you have seen me just now. Tvadanyena Kuru Pravira. So only you have been able to see this. You may have done these things, or you may not have done, but I have shown you. But even by doing all these kind of things, I cannot be seen in this human world. So what I have shown you now is something very special. Na Veda Yajnadhyayanair, na Danair, na Chakriyabir, na Tapobhirugraihi, Evam rupa shakya aham riloke drashtum twadanyena kuru pravira. Kuru pravira means the best among the Kurus. Because this is the Kuru dynasty, right? Where the Pandavas belong. And there was a king by name Kuru. That's why the descendants of Kuru, they are called Kauravas. Kauravas are descendants of Kuru, and Arjuna is a Kaurava. That's the generic name. Of course, during the Mahabharata Yuddha, we call those people who are the side of Duryodhana as the Kauravas, and the people on the side of Arjuna as the Pandavas. But all of them together also called the Kauravas because they're all descendants of Kuru. So, O Kuru Pravira, among the best among the Kurus. So, neither by the study of the Veda and the performance of Yajna in accordance with the Veda, nor by donating in charity, nor by dharmic activities, nor by difficult, excruciating austerities can I be seen in this form. O Kuru Pravira, best among the Kurus. In the world of human beings, I cannot be seen this way by anyone other than you. Mate vyatha macha vimudha bhavo drishtva rupam ghoramidrang mamedam vyapeta bhif prita manaf punastvam tadeva me rupamidam prapashya. So he says that I showed you this form because you wanted to see it, but now I can understand that you are completely shaken up. You are now scared. Your hair is standing on your end. So he says, Mathe vyata. Let there not be any further anxiety for you. Macha vimudha bhavo. Let there not be any confusion. Vimudha bhava means a state of confusion, a state of being bewildered, not knowing what's going on, right? So, macha vimudha bhavo, let there not be any further confusion for you. Drishtva rupam ghoram idrang mamedam. By seeing a form, idrang ghoram. Idrak means of this type. Ghoram. Ghoram means that which is horrifying. It is terrible, horrifying. So, by seeing something so terrible, this form so terrible, all the anxiety and all the confusion that you are facing now, let it not be there anymore. Vyapeta brihi prita manaf punastvam. I want you to be free from all fear, and I want you to experience that same affection that you experienced towards me before. Because the affectionate relationship between Arjuna and Krishna is well known, right? They're very intimate and affectionate to each other. In fact, they're eternally associated with each other as Nara Narayan. So they take birth as Krishna Arjuna in this life. So there is affection. That's the basic bond between them. It's a bond of affection. So I want you to come back to that bond. Vyapeta bhif prita manaf punastvam tadeva me rupamidam prapashya. And therefore, now please see this form that I'm going to show you. Sanjaya Uvacha. Sanjaya says, Sanjaya is the one who is narrating all this to Dhritarashtra. Okay? Whatever is happening between Krishna and Arjuna, Sanjaya is narrating to Dhritarashtra. Ityarjunam vasudevas tatoktva swakam rupam darshayamasa bhuyaha ashvasayamasa cha bhitamenam bhutva punas saumya vapur mahatma. So Sanjaya said, Iti Arjunam Vasudevaha. Vasudeva is Krishna, son of Vasudeva. It's called Vasudeva. Vasudeva, after saying in this manner, after speaking all this, Swakam Rupam Darshayamasa Bhuyaha. He again showed Arjuna his original form, his own form. Okay, his original form. Ashvasayamasa Chabhitamenam. He pacified him. Ashvasaha. Ashvasaha means pacification, or calming somebody down, cooling him down, calmed him down. So this person was so scared, Arjuna was in total fear. So Ashvasayamasa, he pacified him, calmed him by showing him that form. Punaha saumya vapuhu mahatma. Saumyam, the word saumyam in Sanskrit means that which is mild, which is gentle, something that is also very sweet to look at, very pleasing. Saumya means pleasing, calming, gentle. Okay, so Saumya Vapuhu, that very mild and gentle form, very charming form, very pleasing form. So he showed that again to Arjuna. Mahatma. Mahatma refers to Krishna here. Krishna showed Arjuna that beautiful form again, because that was his intention. His intention was not to frighten Arjuna. His intention was to just remove his doubt. So he removed the doubt and he removed it in a big way. After this, Arjuna will have no doubt. Okay, so he removed it, and when Arjuna said enough, okay, now I'm going to show you back my form, and he once again showed him that form. Sanjaya said, after speaking that way to Arjuna, Shri Krishna showed him again his own form. In this way, that great personality, Mahatma, pacified the fearful Arjuna by assuming his mild and gentle form once more. Arjuna uvacha. Now Arjuna is speaking. Drishtvedam manusham rupam tava saumyam janardana idanimasmi samvrittaha sachetaf prakritim gataha. So Arjuna uvacha. Arjuna said, Drishtva idam manusham rupam. Now, after seeing this human-like form, manusham rupam means manusham rupam, human-like form. After seeing this human-like form, tava saumyam janardana, which is mild and pleasing. Oh, Janardana. Janardana is a name of Krishna, Vishnu. So Janardana means one who, has two meanings. One who troubles people, one who gives people trouble. That's one meaning. And the other is one who blesses people with what they want. Okay, that's two meanings of Janardana. So Krishna troubles the people who are wicked in nature, and he blesses the people who are good in nature, right? So both meanings apply. So seeing this mild form, idanim asmi samvrittaha, now I feel fulfilled. Samvrittaha means fulfilled. Just like a man, let's say, who is very thirsty. If you're very, very thirsty, then what do you want? Just want water, right? If I give you some cold drink, that will not satisfy so much. Water is more satisfying when you're really thirsty than even cold drink, right? So when somebody is very hungry, extremely hungry, because they're not eaten for hours together, then you just give them some simple khichdi. That's very fulfilled, satisfied. You don't need some big pizza with some topping and all. Some khichdi, nicely prepared khichdi, are so satisfying. It's fulfilled. You can go and sleep after that, right? So samvrittaha means that. Completely fulfilled, completely calmed down. Idanim asmi samvrittaha sachetaha. Sachetaha means one who has regained his normal senses. So Arjuna had lost his senses when Krishna was showing that form. He was totally lost. He had no composure. He was almost blabbering something, repeating the same thing again and again out of fear. So now he has become sacheta, means he has come back to his composure. He's come back to his right mind. He is in control of himself now. Samvrittaha sachetaf prakritim gataha. I've got back my normal composed nature. Normally Arjuna is very calm, very composed, very much in control, right? Fully in control. So now Arjuna says, oh Janardana, seeing this mild and pleasing human-like form, I have regained my composure and I feel fulfilled. Shri Bhagavan uvacha. So hearing this, Shri Bhagavan is also very happy. So he says, Sudur darshamidam rupam drishtavanasi yan mama devapyasya rupasya nityam darshana kankshinaha. Sudur darsham. Durdarsham means that which is difficult to see. Durdarsham means something that's difficult to see. Sudur darsham means extremely difficult to see, very, very rare. Sudur darshamidam rupam. This form of mine that you are now seeing. Okay, what form is he showing? He's showing the four-handed form. The form in which Krishna holds four items. One is the Shankha, the conch, the chakra, the Sudarshan chakra, the lotus flower, Padma, and Gada, the mace. So this four-handed form that is now being shown to Arjuna. That is the form that Arjuna normally sees. Normally when he is interacting with Krishna, he sees that form, that four-handed form. The Pandavas also, they saw that form of Krishna, right? And sometimes they saw him with two hands. But most of the time they saw him with those four hands. So Sudur darshamidam rupam, this form which is very rare to see, Drishtvanasi yat mama. Devaha api asya rupasya nityam darshana kankshinaha. Even the devas in Swargaloka, even the devas like Indra, they don't see this. So they are nityam darshana kankshinaha. Darshana kankshinaha means those who are hankering to see. जिनकी आकांक्षा है, इसको देखने की आकांक्षा नित्य है. They always want to see this form. They are not able to see it. So devaha api asya rupasya nityam darshana kankshana. Even the devas in Swargaloka are always hankering to see this form. And that form I am showing to you now. Sri Bhagavan said, this four-handed form that you are seeing now is very rarely seen. Even the divine beings, the devas, always hanker to see this form. Naham vedair na tapasa na dane na cha ijjaya shakya evam vido drashtum drishtavanasi mam yatha. Very similar to what he just said a few shlokas back. He's saying, Naham vedaihi, not by Vedas, not tapasa, not by tapasya, na danena, not by giving in charity, na cha ijjaya, not by doing worship of the deity, not by that. By none of these things can I be seen in this form. Evam shakya, evam vidaha. Evam vidaha means in this manner. Shakya, evam vidho drashtum. To be able to be seen in this manner, drishtavanasi mam yatha, in the manner in which you are seeing me now. Neither by the study and recitation of the Vedas, nor by austere penance, nor by charity, nor by deity worship alone, am I possible to be seen in the form that you are now seeing me. Bhaktya tvananyaya shakya aham evam vitorjuna gyatum drashtum cha tatvena praveshtum cha parantapa. This and the next shloka are considered two very important shlokas in the Bhagavad-Gita. So he says, Bhaktya, okay, because he just now said you cannot see me by studying the Veda, by doing yajna, by doing dana, by doing tapasya, by doing so many things. So then the question naturally comes, okay, then how can we see you? Suppose I want to see that form, then what should I do to be able to see that form? So he's giving the answer to that question. He says, Bhaktya, by bhakti. And what type of bhakti? Bhaktya tvananyaya shakyaha. Ananya bhakti. Not just ordinary bhakti, but ananya bhakti. Okay, I'll explain the difference between the two. Bhaktya tvananyaya shakyaha. Aham evam vidorjana. Gyatum drashtum cha tatvena. So by Ananya Bhakti alone, am I possible to be seen in this manner? Drashtum Shakyaha. But not only to be seen, Gyatum means to be known. If you want to not only see me, but also know me, to know who I am, to know more about me, my nature. Gyatum Drashtum, to be known and to be seen. And Tatvena Praveshtum. Tatvena Praveshtum means to understand fully, understand and realize me fully. Okay, to know me, to see me, and to factually understand and realize me. For all these things, the only thing that you should do is Ananya Bhakti. Bhaktya tvananyaya shakya. Only by Ananya Bhakti is it possible to see me. Merely by studying the Veda, by doing dana, by doing tapasya, by doing so many other things which I just listed now, you cannot see me. You can see me only by doing Ananya Bhakti. Okay, so I will speak a little bit more about what Ananya Bhakti is. So this is a very important shloka in the Bhagavad Gita. It comes in the 11th chapter. It's the 54th shloka of the 11th chapter. And then he concludes the 11th chapter with the next shloka in which he adds to what he said now. He says, Mat karma krit, mat paramo, mat bhakta sangavarjitaha, nirvairas sarva bhuteshu, yassa mameti pandava. So adding to whatever I just said, he says, Mat karma krita, become one. Mat karma krita means one who does my activities, activities connected to me. Mat paramaha, one who is devoted to me and considers me their highest goal. Okay, the word mat paramaha means one who thinks me as the supreme and who is devoted to me, who completely devotes his life to me. Mat karma krita, doing my activities. Mat paramaha, devoting oneself completely to me, considering me as the supreme goal of their life. Mat bhaktaha, my bhakta, that is the meaning of being my bhakta. Sangavarjitaha, who gives up all association or all sangha. Sangha means association or company. Gives up all company which is against this, which goes against this or which prevents him from doing this. Sangavarjitaha. Nirvairaha. Okay, what is meant by vairaha? Vairi. Vairaha means enmity. Vairi. Vairi means an enemy. So nirvairaha means a person who has no enemies, free from enmity towards anybody. Nirvairas sarva bhuteshu, free from enmity towards any living being, even if the other living being has an enmity towards us. Okay. Yassa mameti pandava, one who is like this is the one who will be able to come to me, who will be able to achieve me, or who will be able to see the form which I am now showing you. Okay. So Ananya Bhakti, and if you see the words mentioned here, we take the example of Yudhishthira. Okay, among the Pandavas, Yudhishthira. Now, if we read the Mahabharata, the original Mahabharata, you'll see that there are two types of characters represented by Yudhishthira on the one hand, and on the opposite side by Duryodhana. Duryodhana and Yudhishthira are two case studies of contrast, or one case study of good contrast between two natures. Okay, in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, which we will come to after a few chapters, Sri Bhagavan distinguishes between two natures of human beings. Not only human beings, but all living beings. He says there are two natures, Daivi and Asuri. Daivi nature, divine nature. Asuri nature is the demoniac nature. So Yudhishthira and Duryodhana represent these two contrasting natures. Yudhishthira was of the type that even though Duryodhana considered Yudhishthira his greatest enemy, Yudhishthira never saw him as an enemy, saw Duryodhana as an enemy. He always saw him with affection as a brother, his own brother, my own family member. Okay. So that is what he wants. And so he was so dear to Krishna. Krishna considered Yudhishthira as so dear to himself. And all the Pandavas were like that. Effectively speaking, all the Pandavas were like that. Even though some of them, like Bhima, expressed his anger when adharma was done. When dharma was broken, like Draupadi was insulted or something else was done, Bhima could not tolerate it, became angry. But even though Bhima was very angry, then Yudhishthira looked at him and said, keep quiet, don't do anything. Bhima followed that. So he had control over himself. His anger was under control. Right? Nirvairaha means they consciously took the effort to say, I will not bear enmity towards anybody. This is the meaning of bhakti. Okay? So Ananya Bhakti is exclusive bhakti. Bhakti means, what is exactly bhakti? Uttama bhakti, as defined by Sri Rupa Goswami. He says, Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama. Giving up the tendency to pursue things which are not pleasing to Bhagavan. Even activities which give us mukti from this world, even mukti is given up. Jnana karmadi anavritam. Karma means activities which give us sensual pleasure, eventually give us a better material standard of living. And jnana means mukti, getting liberation from this world, not being born again in this material body. Even that. So in path of bhakti, in the path of Ananya Bhakti, both of those desires are consciously given up. Anukulyena krishnanushilanam. Looking for a mentality which says that I will do what is pleasing to Bhagavan, what gives him happiness, and I will not do anything that gives him misery, that gives him unhappiness. So why do we adopt that mentality? We adopt the mentality inspired by the fact that Sri Bhagavan also thinks like that. He himself is always thinking, how can I exist in a way that all living beings are made happy? His existence is for the happiness of others. He is the perfection of selflessness, paropakar. In our Samskriti, in our culture, there is a shloka which is taught to school students. Of course, in today's education system, nothing is taught. It was taught in our education system, and now slowly we are trying to revive it. A very simple shloka is taught. Paropakaraya vahanti nadyaha, paropakaraya phalanti vikshaha, paropakaraya duhanti gavaha, paropakararthamidham shariram. So the river, for example, it carries so much water, but the river never drinks its own water. All the water the river carries is for others. Paropakar. So many living beings benefit from that water. Human beings also draw from that water and make their living. The trees, there's so many trees around us, and we plant trees because we think they're beneficial for us. The trees just stand quietly and they tolerate the heat, they tolerate the cold, they tolerate the rain, they tolerate everything. And they provide for all living beings. They provide food for living beings, they provide fruits for us, they provide shelter to so many living beings. So many living beings live on those trees. So paropakaraya phalanti vrikshaha. Paropakaraya duhanti gava. The cows, they give a lot of milk. Milk is so beneficial, cow's milk. When I say cow, I mean go. Go is what we call as also colloquially as desi go. Bos indicus, Latin name is Bos indicus. So that milk of the Bos indicus species is considered very, very beneficial for human beings also. But the cows don't drink their own milk, except probably when the cow is a calf, it drinks its mother's milk. And after that, once it starts giving milk, it won't drink its own milk, right? Milk is taken by others, and we make so many good things out of that milk, and we make businesses out of milk. We make a whole living on milk. Similarly, paropakarartham idam shariram. This body is meant for giving happiness to others, and this is the mentality of Bhagavan. God is not somebody who is to be feared. God is somebody from whom inspiration is taken. God is someone from whom we relate with affectionately. That is the meaning of bhakti. In the path of bhakti, God is not seen through the lens of fear, like many people do. A predominant view of God is somebody to be feared. If you don't do this, then God will be angry and then he will curse you. Then kuch bura cheez ho jayega. So people do some vrata out of fear. But in bhakti, we don't do vrata out of fear. Anything we do in bhakti is not done out of fear, it's done out of affection. Thinking that the person for whom I'm doing this, the person for whose pleasure I'm doing this, is a person who's living for my sake, who's living for everybody's sake, who's living for others' happiness. That is the mentality of bhakti. So all the practices of bhakti are, beginning with japa, for example, are meant to take us towards that mentality of paropakar, by which we understand how Sri Bhagavan lives, how he conducts himself, how he thinks, what his mentality is, and what he wants us to be. And when we become like him, when we develop that mentality and that nature, then we become eligible to see him. We become eligible to become his associate, and he reveals himself to us. But even before we become that perfect, that level of perfection, just by starting the path of bhakti, on the path of bhakti, we start experiencing his involvement in our life. We start experiencing his intervention in guiding us from inside. He guides us. He teaches us what is right, what is wrong, through the Shastra, like Bhagavad-gita, and through our conscience inside. So the conscience, he speaks to us. This is right, this is wrong. Don't do this, etc. Right? That's the meaning of bhakti. And the Bhagavad-gita essentially is a book of bhakti. It teaches bhakti yoga. It also teaches karma yoga and jnana yoga, because not everybody develops the conviction towards bhakti yoga. The kind of things I'm speaking now, some people find that difficult to accept. So he says, no problem. You can still do other forms where you don't have to think of me in bhakti, but think of at least karma yoga. Do your duty with detachment and offer the results to me. That way you become detached and you will develop pure knowledge, spiritual knowledge. It is jnana yoga, contemplation of knowledge. So Gita teaches those things also, but the conclusion of Gita, the highest message the Gita is giving us, is the message of bhakti. By doing bhakti, we develop the perfection of life. Okay. So with this, we come to the end of the 11th chapter of Bhagavad-gita. And in the next class onwards, I will begin the 12th chapter. 12th chapter. For today's class, in the remaining time, if you have any questions or any comments, we can take that now. Even the online participants.
I have a question.
Yeah, Tunir, yeah.
Yeah. On one of the previous slides, you had a difference between what is bhakti and you had a modifier to bhakti. Ananya bhakti. What is the difference between
Ananya bhakti and what is not Ananya bhakti? Yeah. So people do bhakti with different types of motivation. When I say people do bhakti, people approach God, and he says in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, in the 16th shloka of the 7th chapter, he says, Chaturvidha bhajante mam. There are 4 types of people who come to me, who worship me, or who do my bhakti. Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritino Arjuna, artho jigyasur artharthi jnani cha bharatarshava. Artha means one who is in distress, one who is extremely in distress. He approaches me to become free from that distress. So an example that's commonly given is how when Draupadi experienced extreme distress. It happens 2 times in the Mahabharata, and in both occasions she calls him out. She calls for him, not calls him out, sorry. She calls for him. And when she calls for him, immediately he responds on both occasions. One is the occasion that is famously known where Dushasana is trying to, humiliate her in the assembly of the Kauravas. And she calls him, and immediately Krishna, he responds by taking the form of her sari. And he is pulling her sari, and the sari never gets completed. I mean, it just goes on coming out. So he comes to her rescue. The other is when Duryodhana, he asks Durvasa to go to the place where Pandavas are staying when they have completed their food, and when Draupadi also has finished her food, so that she will not be able to feed him. Of course, he doesn't say that. He just says, go when she has completed all her meal also. Because the Pandavas in the forest, they are depending upon what is called an Akshaya Patra. And the Akshaya Patra is a vessel which is capable of feeding any number of people, infinite people, until Draupadi eats. From the morning until the time that Draupadi eats, you can prepare as much food as you want. But after Draupadi eats, then it can no longer produce until the next morning. Okay, this is a unique kind of vessel. So Duryodhana knows that. So he says, please go there after Draupadi finishes her lunch. So he knows that when Durvasa goes there and when Draupadi cannot feed him, and of course Durvasa never goes alone, he goes with lots of disciples. So he has a huge following of disciples. He always goes with the army of disciples. So when he and his whole contingent comes and they are not being fed, now they are going to get very upset. And Durvasa, it is known very well that when he gets upset, he's going to curse. He curses very badly. So when this happens and Durvasa turns up there and Draupadi has just finished her lunch and he says, I'll go for my bath and come back. Please keep my food ready. So he goes and Draupadi doesn't know what to do now. She is responsible for preparing the food and she's completely lost. She doesn't know what to do. So instantly her mind goes to Krishna and she calls out to him. He's not there physically. And the moment she calls out to him, within a minute or so, he turns up there. And he plays a wonderful, he does something fantastic. So he tells her, he plays a trick actually. He first tells her that, he says, what do you want? She starts explaining that this is what happened. Durvasa came. And as she's trying to explain, he cuts her short. He doesn't allow her to complete. He says, look, you called me and I came rushing and now I'm feeling so hungry. Please feed me something. Please feed me. How can you just first feed me, then we will talk. So she says, there's nothing to feed you. She wants to say that, but he doesn't allow her to say. He says, please go to the kitchen, bring something. Then she tells him, look, nothing is left in the kitchen. Nothing is there. How can I feed you? He says, no, don't talk. Don't stand here and talk. Go to the kitchen. Bring that vessel. You will find something there. Bring it. So she just goes because he's urging her. So she just goes to the kitchen. She brings that vessel and she gives it to him. And he picks it up and he examines the vessel and he says, see, there is something here. And there is a small piece of vegetable stuck in the side there. And he picks it up and he puts it in his mouth. And then in the Mahabharata, it is described that when the master of the universe has been fed, the entire universe is fed. So that one piece of vegetable that goes into his mouth is enough. And then Krishna he says to Draupadi, now he doesn't say anything more to her. He just eats that and he says, it's nice. I'm satisfied with this. He turns to Sahadeva, one of the 5 Pandavas. Sahadeva, he's there, he's also there. They're all standing there and looking at him. They don't know what to do next. And he turns to him and says, Sahadeva, now go to the river and ask them all to come. I will arrange food for them. So they just do what he is saying. They don't know where the food is and where it will come from. They just follow what he says. They have trust in him. So Sahadeva goes to the river. And in the meantime, in the river, these people are taking a bath. And as they're taking the bath, what has happened is, because Krishna put this thing in his mouth, at that moment, suddenly the disciples, they start feeling that they are completely full. They start experiencing a feeling like a man who has eaten much more than his capacity. They are so full that it seems to be coming out of their mouth. And so suddenly one disciple, he starts feeling this. He turns to another disciple. They are in the river, inside the river. He turns to another disciple who's also in the river and tells him, look, I'm suddenly feeling as if I'm completely full. I can't eat anything more. Is that happening to you too? That guy says, yes, it's happening to me too. And then they all look at each other and everybody is experiencing the same thing. And now they are thinking, why are they suddenly feeling like that? They don't know. So they go to their guru, who is also taking bath, and then they tell him, Master, we are feeling like this, and I don't think we can eat anything. Even if Mother Draupadi has prepared something for us, I don't think we could eat anything. So we'll go back and only you will have to eat. We will not be able to eat anything. And Durvasa realizes that he also is feeling like that. He also cannot eat anything more. And then he thinks that if we go back now, then they would have prepared, because we told them to prepare, and they would have prepared something. And we will not be able to eat it, and that will become an offense, because we told them to prepare, and we go back and they are not able to prepare, we are not able to eat it. And that will not be nice also, it will be an offense to them. And Durvasa remembers a previous incident. This is described in the Mahabharata. And this previous incident is described in the Bhagavatam, where a similar thing happened between him and Ambarisha, where he curses Ambarisha for something similar, and eventually he suffers for it. So he remembers that, and he says that we should not fool around with the bhaktas of Vishnu. This is very dangerous. So he says, let's just run away from here. So he tells his disciples, please, let's get out of here. Before they come and search for us, let's move away from here. So it's described in the Mahabharata that immediately after that, all the disciples of Durvasa and Durvasa himself, they all went away in different directions. They also didn't go together also. They all ran away in different directions because they wanted to vanish from there as quickly as possible. They wanted to flee. They fled from there. So Sahadeva reaches there and he finds nobody there. So he said, such a big contingent came, Durvasa came, and so where have they gone? So he just walks along the river and he finds some villagers there taking bath. So he asks them, just now, a lot of people, didn't they come, the Brahmanas, the Durvasa and everybody? Yeah, they came, and just now they all ran away. We don't know why they ran away, but we saw them running away here and there. They all have gone. So Sahadeva sees no one. So he goes back to his camp and he tells Krishna and the other Pandavas and Draupadi that this is what happened. I went there and they told me, the villagers told me that all of them have gone away. They're not going to come for lunch. They're not going to come here. So I don't know why. I don't know what happened. So then Krishna smiles and tells them, this is what happened. I came here when Draupadi called me. I understood what the problem. I knew what the problem was even before I came. And this is what I've done for you. So this is called Artaha. Artaha means one who is in complete distress when he calls out to Krishna genuinely, with complete trust, with complete conviction. Then Krishna responds in this manner. Artaha. Jigyasu means one who is inquisitive. So there are some people, in fact, there are many people who are very, very inquisitive about what reality is. What is the actual reality? What are we? Why do we exist? Is there something beyond our existence in life? Is there a purpose in life? Did I exist before I was born? Will I continue to exist after I die? Now, if you say that I will not exist after I die, this is the only life I have. Many people say that, no? This is the only life. एक ही बार जीते हो, खाओ पियो ऐश करो. So then what is the purpose of doing all this? Anyway, I'm going to die one day, I'm going to become non-existent. Now, if you say that there is existence after this life, then what is that existence? How will I exist after this birth? Will I exist in the ground? Will I exist in the sky? Where will I? Some people say you will become a ghost. Some people say you will become a tree. What will I become? So this kind of questions come to people's minds, right? Some of you also might have got, you're all scholars, right? So some of you might have got these kind of questions in your life too. So these are called existential questions. And similarly, there are other questions connected to the phenomenological aspects of this universe. I'm experiencing pain, pleasure. I see a big universe, the sky is so huge. In fact, even if you read modern astronomy, it says that the nearest star to the earth, the sun is the star nearest to us. We are part of the solar system. But what is the nearest star to the sun? It's called Alpha Centauri, right? It's about 4.2 light years away from the sun or from the solar system. 4.2 light years. Do you know what that means? What does it mean?
It takes 4.2 years to reach.
Exactly. If somebody is traveling at the speed of light, they will take 4.2 years to reach there. And that's the closest one. It is so near to us. See how near? It's 4.2 years traveling at the speed of light. We think bullet trains are fast. Speed of light. 3 into 10 raised to the power of 8 meters per second. I remember that from my school days. We memorized it. It's so important to us. So the nearest star is so far, and there are stars much, much farther than that. There are hundreds of galaxies that have been identified by modern astronomers, which are millions of light years away. Traveling at the speed of light, it will take millions of years. So what we are seeing today, what we see today happened millions of years back there, because the light which left that place millions of years back is reaching us today. So what is happening there today? We have no idea. So even the question like, does life exist only on this earth? Does it exist elsewhere also? There are some people who believe that life exists only here. How can we accept that? There are so many millions of galaxies with their solar systems. Each galaxy has got millions of solar systems, stars. Where are we in this universe? So this is an important question. And this question comes to the mind. This is called jigyasa, curiosity. So in trying to answer this question, people go to different philosophies. And sometimes they end up here in the Bhagavad-Gita. The Bhagavad-Gita gives very convincing answers to this. Okay, if you read the Gita from end to end, the Bhagavad-Gita, and more broadly, the Vedanta philosophy, which the Bhagavad-Gita represents, which is elaborated in so many other texts like the Bhagavatam, for example. Bhagavatam elaborates on Vedanta much more than the Gita. So those questions are fairly convincingly answered, or for some people, very convincingly answered. So that jigyasa goes away. Okay, so artha jigyasuru, they find their answers. The third category is artharthi. Artharthi means one who comes to Krishna for the sake of some material return, prosperity. Okay, like for example, you take the example of Tirupati. Okay, Tirupati, Krishna is there, Vishnu, Balaji. A lot of people go to Tirupati. Why do they go to Tirupati? They go to Tirupati and worship Vishnu there. They go with the expectation that if I take a vow in front of that deity, saying that I will do this tapasya, I will do something, then in return I will get something. A lot of businessmen I know, for example, in Bangalore, in surrounding areas in Hyderabad, who take a vow that, oh God, if you give me 10 crores, I will donate 1 crore to your temple. It's a business exchange, right? It's called artharthi, going to Bhagavan for artha. Artha means material wealth, material prosperity in exchange for that. So they negotiate with Bhagavan. They promise him something with the hope that they will get something more in return from him. Okay, and he is kind enough to give. Many people actually experience it. When they make this promise and they experience success, they feel fulfilled, and they again go and repeat, and it goes cycle after cycle. The whole life they live like this. Right? Then Bhagavan says Jnani, the last category. The fourth category is Jnani. Jnani is the bhakta who knows that these three are not the reason we should go to Bhagavan. They are not the real reason we should go to him. Because what is Bhagavan's real nature? Where is real happiness? Real happiness lies in connecting with him in love. Because what is our real goal in life? What is the ultimate goal in life? Our immediate goal is something like doing a PhD, completing our PhD. Why do we want to do a PhD? Because we want to get a career in academics. Correct? It's a correct answer, no? Why do you want to have a career in academics? Because I have to have a career, I should do something that I like, and I like academics, so I want to have a career there. But why do you want to have any career at all? Why not just don't do any job? No, I need to feed myself. I need to take care of my family. I want to have a family. I want to have children. I want to take care of my parents. I want to have my own house. I want to have my own car. Okay, then why do you want to have all these things? For what? Because that is what will make me happy. Correct? So it ends, ultimately, it stops there. Why do you want to be happy? There is no further question there. That question, the answer will end in happiness only again. I want to be happy because happiness is what I want. So happiness is what everybody wants. That's a common goal, regardless of what we are pursuing as our immediate goal, short-term goals. Our ultimate goal is common. That is happiness, joy, happiness, contentment, right? So what is the highest form of happiness? Now, research, even modern research shows, you can pick up research. For example, in OB, in psychology, there is a field called positive psychology. So if you read the literature on positive psychology, you will see they also say that the best form of happiness is in relationships, genuine relationships with others, other human beings, or even animals. Okay, many people have relationships with their pets, with dogs, cats, whatever. When relationships are genuine, trustworthy, when there is no profit-making thinking in that what will I gain from you? What will you gain from me? That kind of thinking is not there. Genuine, that person genuinely loves me. I genuinely love that person. If that feeling is there, in that feeling, a relationship made with that feeling is the relationship which gives the best happiness to us. So all the money we earn, all the the property, the career, the greatness, if you occupy great power, position, ultimately, if you don't have this relationship, unless you get relationships of this nature, you will not experience the best form of happiness. They should take you towards this. If they don't, then they are of no use. They will only give you some intermediate happiness, temporary short-term happiness. So if we are able to accept that relationships are what gives us the best happiness, and the most genuine relationships are the ones that give us the most pure happiness, then we come to the Bhagavad-Gita. Because in the Gita and in our Shastra, it is revealed that the purest relationship you can have, the most genuine relationship that we can have, is with God, is with Bhagavan. Because God is the most genuine person, the most loving person. The purest form of love exists with him. And that is Ananya Bhakti. So Ananya Bhakti is when we don't look for the other three things. We don't look for Artha, Jigyasu or Jigyasa or for Artha. We don't go to him for distress. We don't go to him only for answering our questions. We don't go to him for material wealth. But we go to him thinking that I want someone with whom I have a perfectly genuine relationship, with whom I can completely depend upon and who can depend upon me. By my activities, that person will be very pleased. And by his support, I will also be very happy. With whom I can have that kind of a bond. That is Ananya Bhakti, where Bhakti is exclusive and pure. It is without any return. When you want to do service to Bhagavan, to his pleasure, without asking for anything in return from him, that is called Ananya Bhakti. I've taken a very long answer. I've given you a very, very long answer. Has it answered your question?
Yeah, it was basically said. So, I never
Yeah.
like
Forgot your name. I'm sorry.
Anibrata Roy.
Anibrata Roy. Okay.
So actually, I wanted to know we are calling the fourth type of bhakti as Ananya Bhakti.
Yeah.
Like we would be having like the purest form of relationship with God.
Yeah.
So as you said, like our short-term goals are like this, I want to have PhD or like this thing.
Yeah.
So our long-term goals should be having that one in a bhakti or having a previous form of relationship.
Yes. Long-term goal should be Ananya Bhakti. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the larger goal. Yes.
As we have mentioned about Narayan,
Yeah.
called Arjun and
Krishna. Yes.
so here Arjun is called as Nara and Narayan.
Krishna is Narayana. Yes. Arjuna is Nara. Krishna is Narayana. Yes. Correct. So they eternally, that form of Nara Narayana is eternal. It's always existing. It's not manifest to us. So once in a while, they come as a pair. Like in this particular Mahabharata time, they came as Krishna and Arjuna.
And so, like the Rishi Durvasa is the one who cast Pandu or he is a different person.
Which Rishi?
Rishi Durvasa.
Durvasa, yes.
He's the one who cast Pandu.
No, he is not the one who cursed Pandu to die. That was a different Rishi. I don't remember that name. It was another Rishi who was actually having a physical union with his wife at that time. He was engaged in physical pleasure with his wife when Pandu disturbed him. Yes. And so he got cursed by that Rishi. I'm unable to recollect that Rishi's name. Jayashree, do you recollect that? Huh? Anybody?
Kindama,
Yeah,
Kindama.
Kindama Rishi.
Which Rishi?
Kindama.
Indama, is it?
Kindama. K for Krishna. Kindama.
Kindama Rishi. Kindama Rishi. Not Durvasa. Durvasa, in other places he comes and sometimes he curses also. Yeah. I forgot your name too.
Sauvik.
Shavik. Those who are online.
No points. No questions.
Okay. Sarthak.
Yes, sir. No questions today.
Good.
Sir, I know I have asked this question to you before, but can you please re-answer it?
Who is it?
Sir, Sarthak again.
Okay, Sarthak, yes.
So in the four types of bhaktas that you mentioned, so one is the jigyasu who is curious about getting answers to cosmology and the cosmic reality.
Yeah.
And we also have the jnani. So can you please re-answer what is the main difference between these two?
Jnani, the last category called Jnani, the fourth category which I did not describe, is described in the subsequent shlokas. So there he says, Tesham Jnani Nitya Yuktaha Eka Bhaktir Vishishyate Priyo hi Jnanino Atyartham Aham Sacha Mama Priyaha. He says that the Jnani is the person who is engaged in my Nitya Bhakti. He is describing the Ananya Bhakta there. So he says, Priyahi Jnaninaha Atyartamaham. I am very dear to that Jnani and the Jnani is very dear to me. Aham Sacha Mama Priyaha. Jnani is very dear to me and I am very dear to him. There's already a very dear bond between them. The fourth Jnani is the one who is in Bhakti. Eka Bhaktir Vishishyate. Exclusive Bhakti means he doesn't have anything other than Bhakti in his life. The Ananya Bhakta.
So that means the jnani is already a bhakta.
Yes. The
He is
word
not a
Jnani,
sadhaka, but a siddha.
yeah. Or a sadhaka also. A sadhaka who is aspiring for that. So even in the sadhana stage, even if the realization of Bhagavan is not complete, the sadhaka also has reached a stage of maturity where he has managed to eliminate all distractions from his life and his only engagement is anything to do with Bhagavan. Every activity he does for the pleasure of Bhagavan. That is why I told you that we don't have to give up our normal occupation to do Ananya Bhakti. So when we sometimes say this about Ananya Bhakti, it causes this doubt whether Bhakti is something we should do after retirement, because before retirement we have to be doing our job, we have to take care of our career. Fair enough. But Bhakti is something that is done in any condition of life we are in, whether we are in our career or we are retired from career or we are students before we begin our career, doesn't matter. Ananya Bhakti is done in all those situations. Ananya Bhakti means thinking of all our activities and doing them in a manner that would be pleasing to Bhagavan, regardless of what activity it is. Whether it is studying our books, writing our exams, or doing something in our job, whatever it is.
So, sir, if I may think about the main difference between a Jigyasu and a Jnani, it could be that the Jigyasu may have has questions about the same but has no answer. But a Jnani may have the knowledge even if he has not realized it yet or experienced it yet, but he has the conviction that, okay, this is the path to be pursued.
Yes.
So a Jigyasu does not even know the path. The Jnani knows the path. That is a subtle difference.
Yeah, a Jigyasu has not yet developed the conviction that the Jnani has developed. The Jigyasu's conviction is just that God will help me to answer these questions. If I go to Vishnu, if I go to Krishna or Vishnu, then my questions will be answered. My doubts will be answered. I'll find the answer in reading about him and so on. But the Jnani has already, become free from that. He is no longer troubled by those questions. Those questions become irrelevant to him. In his mind, they might have come before, but now they are no longer troubling him. Now he's only thinking how to practice bhakti in a proper way.
Okay, sir. And so this may not.
So here I should also just add one more point. See, the word Jnani is used in the Shastra, in the Bhagavad-gita or in the Bhagavatam or other texts also, to also mean people who are aspiring for mukti, liberation. Okay, so I didn't mention that so far. Mukti is another goal of life. Okay, for example, in the four purusharthas of life, which are commonly cited, dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, the fourth one, moksha, is the desire for permanent liberation from material existence, right? The first three are not. The fourth one is. So those who are aspiring for moksha, they're also called mumukshus. So mumukshus are also called jnanis. That's another name for them. Jnanis. Understood? So those who have,
yes, sir.
Those who have that desire for mukti, also approach Krishna, also do bhakti to Krishna with the hope of getting mukti. Bhakti is considered a path to mukti also. And that form of bhakti is also not Ananya Bhakti. Ananya Bhakti, in Ananya Bhakti, there is no desire for anything in return for bhakti, including mukti. The desire for mukti also is absent in it.
Yes, sir. Sir, I had one more question, but on these lines itself.
Yes.
Sir, so you also said that the relationship is something that gives the most happiness, and the best relationship that one can have is with Shri Bhagavan. But sir, we can all understand this in today's context, as in this universe, we already have life and we are attending this session. But sir, there was a time when there was no life on Earth.
Yeah.
And we know how Earth has evolved over billions of years. So at that time, when even life was not present, but existence was present. So, but we also know that Brahman or the Atma or the Jivatma is beyond life and death and is eternal. So
Yeah.
when there is no life, then how can there be any relationship with either Shri Bhagavan or anyone else? So
When
on
there
that
is no
level.
life, when there is no life, there can be no relationship. Relationship means relationship between living beings. That's what we mean. We don't
And
mean
sir, the nature of the Atma is said to be Sat and Chit. So how do we explain this Chit or the sentience when there is no life? Without life, how can we explain it?
we can't. They are two different things. Chid Vastu is different from Achit Vastu. Chid Vastu is consciousness or life. For example, each one of us is Chid Vastu. Our body is Achit Vastu. The material body has no Chit in it. We have Chit, or we are Chit. We are consciousness. We have consciousness. We are consciousness, both. And we are life. The body has no consciousness. The body is just matter. It's the body which dies. We don't die. According to Bhagavad-gita, we never die. We are always living. We always exist. Only our body
So,
changes.
So, sir, even in this universe, when
Yeah.
there was no life, but according to the Vedanta philosophy, we still existed because Atma is beyond time and space and it is eternal. And
Yes.
Atma is Sat, it is Chit, and it is Anand. So, how do we explain this Chit when there was no life on this earth?
So I
That
want to
aspect
ask,
of Atma.
no, this question about when there was no life on earth, where does this knowledge come from? When there was no life? Where are you taking it from? When is there no
Sir,
life?
as in
Darwin's theory says that, is it?
no, sir. As in how different collisions actually led to the formation of Earth and Moon
Bang
and
theory.
how our solar system evolved. Yes.
Big Bang theory says that. Some collisions, and there was a Big Bang, and then there were collisions between molecules, and eventually life came from there. Correct, no?
Sir, I'm not aware how life came, but there is a theory which suggests how Earth existed to be. So there was a time when even the Earth was not very much habitable to life as it is today.
So one of the most prominent theories which emerged about 300-400 years back, or may not be even that old, I don't know exactly when it came, was the Big Bang theory, which said something like this. And then other theories have come about how the universe first came into existence, right? So these theories, they say that there was a time in the universe when there was no life. And then life formed out of matter. For them, in these theories, life is essentially matter, means life came because there were molecules and molecules collided with other molecules, and there was a primordial soup. And from the primordial soup, suddenly certain organisms emerged, certain chemicals, DNA formed, some DNA started entangling with each other, right? So from a set of random collisions which came from nowhere, something came out. But our Shastra, the Vedanta Shastra especially, does not explain the origin of life like that. For it, life has no origin. There was never a time when life did not exist. Natve vaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadipaha. The second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the 12th shloka. Natve vaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadipaha. Nachaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamatah param. So Shri Bhagavan, this is the very first thing that he tells Arjuna, very first question, very first answer, I mean. He says, there was never a time when these kings who are standing in front of us were non-existent, nor we were non-existent, nor you, nor me. And there will never be a time in the future when we will all be non-existent. Right? He is using two negatives. Never non-existent means always existing. So Vedanta says that life always exists. There was never a time when there was a non-existence of life. You can say there was a time when there was this universe did not exist, but not when the life did not exist. Life is independent of the material universe.
Yes, sir.
Consciousness is
making sense.
the universe. That's what Vedanta teaches us. Consciousness is above the universe. It's not part of this universe.
So
we are experiencing the universe. The consciousness experiences the universe, but it is beyond the universe. You getting?
yes, sir.
And one more point, I think, which you could add here is the association with Bhagavan is nirguna. It is beyond the prakriti. So the association that we have with Bhagavan is eternal. Only the degree may vary between the jivatmas, but the attempt that we make to connect with him is permanent.
Yes.
Am I right? Like
Absolutely.
So even if the body goes away, the association with Bhagavan remains. Whatever extent we have connected with him, that won't go away. That won't die with the body. That is permanent, and the next Janma it continues.
Exactly.
So, ma'am, when we are talking about next Janma, we are also considering a body.
Yes.
Yes, because our all the different layers of the body have to go, till the linga deha, sukshma deha, linga deha, everything has to go. So the association that we make, that is why the Manava Janma is considered very, very, very precious and very, very important, because only in this Manava deha we can connect with Bhagavan. Not in any other, not in the Pashu deha or insect or any other. That is why Manava Janma is considered very unique. And that's why our Acharyas have given so much importance to this Manava Janma.
Yes, ma'am.
So whatever time we have in this Janma, we should utilize in connecting with Bhagavan. That is the message which I think Bhagavan is trying to give us.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And one more
Thank you,
point,
ma'am.
which I just wanted to share is the last shloka, he calls Arjuna by the name Pandava. So, and he lists, can you please show the last shloka of this chapter?
Yeah, here.
So, mat karmakrit, mat paramamaha, mat bhaktaha, sangavarjitaha. So, all these qualities, if we look for a person or people where we can find all these qualities, it is the Pandavas, all the Pandavas. So, whatever they did, it was for Krishna. And whenever they had any difficulty, they went to Krishna. Not all the time, but when it was beyond their capacity to solve the problems, they went to Krishna. Like many episodes are there where they look, like when Rajasuya Yaga is there. Whenever Yudhishthira had to do something, he took Krishna's advice. So everything happened with Krishna's advice or association with Krishna. So that Mahabharata tells us this very clearly, and therefore probably Bhagavan is saying, calling Arjuna by the name Pandava here, not Arjuna or Bharata or he calls him by many other names throughout the Gita, but here he calls him by Pandava, kind of telling us that go back and read the Mahabharata to understand what all these words mean. That's the message I got as you were, explaining the shloka.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Sarthak. Welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions? Or should we close for today? Okay, so now we will chant the Antya Mangalam. And when I'm chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, again, I request everybody to join in with me. We'll chant it 3 times. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Gobhramanebhyo Shubhamastu Nityam Lokas Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dhanyavada.